Why is it that these devils, they want to intermingle? The signs of the devil is this perverseness of intermingling. There is some sin that God ordained for the church to be aware of. This strange infatuation right here with devils, that they want fornication and idolatry. We live in a day and age where teenagers, they just want to sleep with vampires, where we have men fantasizing about demonic women to sleep with. These kind of weird fantasy about sleeping with what? Mermaids, vampires, and creatures. It's repeating what? It's repeating Genesis 6, but you have to make it look innocent. You have to make it seductive. You have to make it alluring. And don't tell me a lot of people will what? Want to fornicate with those kind of beings. And guess what? These sons of God, they're walking among us somewhere. They're out there. Strange. Strange.
So do you have to censor this picture? There's nothing technically showing.
I'm not risking it.
I guess with our 2 subscribers, we can't really, you can't really risk it.
Okay.
Welcome to the 2 subscriber special.
Hey, what do you think for giving me Monster Girls? Okay.
Not quite yet. Let's not think them before. Let's not count our eggs before the wyvern's had.
Anyway, Lamia. So a disposition varies wildly. Most are very strong.
That's not a disposition. That's a. Like, do they mean their personalities are strong?
Yeah, like it's kind of interesting. It'd be like, I'm guessing it varies wildly because there's different subspecies. Yeah, okay. Monsters that have the upper half of a beautiful human woman, the lower half of a long snake. I'm glad
It should say a beautiful woman and the lower half of an even more beautiful snake.
We live in a day and age where bestiality and weeaboos are coming out more bravely now.
Okay, we get it. Okay. Lamia may live in villages where their own kind gather or slip into human villages, but basically most of them act independently. They're highly intelligent with a snake-like cunning and persistence.
Snakes aren't that smart.
I was gonna say I don't know what snakes are like pulling
really
off
smart,
ice. Yeah. It said that they always obtain whatever human men they have their eyes on. They lurk in the shadows, concealing their serpentine lower half while showing off their beautiful upper half to lure men that happen to be passing by.
Do it the opposite way, and it'll work better.
Can you imagine seeing one on an escalator, and then you're like, "Oh, hey, lady, wait a minute."
Yeah, she's like coming up the escalator, and you just see the human half. You're like, well, "Damn, she's thick." The snake part comes in. You're like, "Damn, she's thick."
Like, damn, she thick as fuck.
It's like the whole escalator is taken up by the tail. This is when they'll use their sweet voice laden with powerful charm magic against a man. A Lamia's sultry, bewitching voice will spellbind a man and tie a hold like a snake coiling around its prey. Refusing to release him, and the man will be lured toward Lamia, staggering. After a man is approached in this manner, they'll swiftly wind their long lower body around him, bringing him, robbing his body of freedom, only then to have sex with him. Even in the middle of sex, they continue to whisper of love in the man's ears. That's really
nice.
Creepy.
What?
That's really creepy.
It's not creepy.
The context is that like you had no choice and you're into it now, and then like now
I'm into it now.
Okay. What if it sounded like the snake from the Jungle Book?
Which one? You mean fucking
the snake from the Jungle Book?
You mean Scarlett Johansson? Remember live action Jungle Book?
No, of course I don't mean that one. Why would I mean that one?
Because that's a woman's voice. Scarlett Johansson has a lovely voice. I would.
No, she doesn't.
Yes, she does.
No, she doesn't.
It's like kind of husky and a little deep.
With pleasure next to see their charming voice grows even more lustrous, it will continuously reverberate inside the man's head. Imagine she's like
yelling.
She's got like her whole mouth in his ear. She's like, I love you. Just yelling in his ear while being continuously charmed. During sex, a man will come to enjoy even the sensation of the serpentine lower half coiled around his entire body, not just the soft skin of the woman intimately pressed against him, and the feel of her lower body when they're joined together. You see, I see some sweat starting to appear in your brow.
A little bit.
He will start to feel that Lamia, including her serpentine lower half, is even more charming and lovely. Eventually, a man's heart will be seized by her, and he'll end up surrendering himself to the constriction and the pleasure he receives. Men who strike their fancy are kidnapped, taken away to Lamia villages, and will end up as their husbands.
At least it's a village. At least it's not like a cave or like the ocean in
That's
general.
true. It's not like some
It's like an actual little village.
Yeah, it's not like some crazy psycho house. It's like, hey, this is my family.
Yeah.
I mean, you
Mom,
still can't go
Mom,
home.
Dad,
This is-
I saw this man on the road. Now it's my husband.
It's like you still
That's how
can't go home.
That's how I have Dad, honey.
These tenacious girls are extremely stubborn about expressing love to their husband. They will coil their lower body around him, refusing to let go. Then when it comes to sex, they always spend a long time at it while entangled with their husband. They relentlessly shower their husband with love and affection, are also deeply jealous in equal proportion. If their husband cheats on them, they'll squeeze tightly around his entire body and will end up being thoroughly ravished and milked. Okay.
Don't cheat on the snake woman.
I mean, I guess
what would you cheat on her with?
That's what some. I mean, maybe you wouldn't have a choice. You'd be like, I'm sorry. I went to go down to the ocean to fish, and
and the shark got me.
Mm-hmm.
Whoops, whoopsie doodle. Oh no, I'm already been constricted.
They molt at regular intervals and will shed and discard the skin of their lower half, just like a snake. Ew.
There's a scene of this in the Monster Musume manga and the anime. It looks really uncomfortable.
Looks kind of gross. Immediately after molting, their lower half becomes extremely sensitive. I see. They enter a state in which their entire serpentine lower half is like an erogenous zone. Even the slightest touch. Isn't that a thing too? He steps on their tail one time.
Yeah.
Yeah, even the slightest touch from their husband will result in a pleasure coursing through their body, resulting in a state of powerful arousal. Due to the potency of the pleasure they can experience by coiling their serpentine body around their husband directly after molting, they coil around their husband's body, rub against him, even more persistent than the usual, pursuing coitus in an aroused state.
This is pretty good.
I mean, 90% of this article was just like, and then
they fuck.
Yeah. So, but I guess because this is like a general category.
This is the baseline
Yeah.
Monster Girl.
Mm-hmm. This is kind of like, what's the phrase? It's the entry level Monster Girl.
That'd be like an elf or something. This is like a step above.
I feel like elves don't really
count.
Yeah, they're not really in the same genre as like this. This really is like the first like intro into Monster Girls. Like centaurs and elves are kind of just within fantasy. This is like within like, okay, now we're getting into like the deeper territory. Now I'm in the zone, you know.
You're in the
monster zone.
The monster zone, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What do you give it?
Like a 7, I guess.
I give it a 10.
Yeah, I know you're into the snake ladies.
I'm into the voice part. I didn't know about that.
It goes.
Voices are nice.
It goes.
Hello, my love. I am a snake.
Well, I think a rattlesnake one would be cool.
There's a rattlesnake one, or at least I've
Yeah.
seen pictures of a rattlesnake one.
But yeah, I guess a 7 because it's a general one, and I'm not really into the scaliest part of it, or the being kidnapped, and then like now you have to deal with snake girl problems you didn't really want to deal with. But you know.
I was just trying to get some groceries.
But yeah, it's not bad. Okay, now
You have to call your parents. Mom, Dad, I moved. Oh, did you save up enough money to get a house, sweetheart? That's so nice. Not exactly. I was going to Pizza Hut. I was going to Little Caesars, right? And this snake, you know those snakes, Dad. They got me. They got me.
Oh, well, okay, so
She can't come over for Christmas. You're no longer my son.
I mean, we can't really visit you because you know you'll have a brother. But that's nice. If you come alone.
Don't bring her with you. Don't let her follow you home.
Okay, elf.
Alright, elf.
All right.
Wow, an elf. I didn't actually think they would be included in this since they're so like this kind of people with ears. But I guess you gotta have them, right?
I guess so.
Everyone likes dark elves better than regular elves.
Yeah.
Damn, she thick as fuck.
Alright, anyway, what is an elf? Elves are a forest-dwelling race in the Monster Girl Encyclopedia world that are not naturally counted amongst the monsters. Oh, well, there you go. There are male and females. Well, this is trash.
You don't want an elf, man.
Just as with humans and dwarves. However, when exposed to demonic energy, female elves can be twisted into nymphomaniacal monster versions of their original species. Non-corrupted elves are a haughty, isolationist, and puritanical species that are more naturally magical than humans. They have an ancient rivalry with the dwarves that predates even the age of the former demon lord. Precisely because elves are so prideful and pure, succubi and dark elves are particularly enjoy corrupting them. This kind of lesbian sexual predation by the Ima is causing pure elves to disappear rapidly. Oh lord. They're like bees. Although they naturally look down on pretty much all other races, non-corruptor elves are physically capable of interbreeding with humans, producing half-elves. When they become monsters in the same style as angels, the elves' high magical power prevents them from sprouting succubi horn and wings, although their bodies do become more sensitive, beautiful, and arousing in the usual monster style. Elf villages are scrupulous, exiling those touched with demonic energy. Once they're cast out, even if it isn't their intent, they'll advance in the direction where they are human men. Why is this written differently?
They're a bunch of thoughts.
They're a bunch of thoughts. Can't trust them. Why they specifically seek out human men as opposed to their own species isn't clear. Once they find them, monster elves prove particularly fond of filthy... Fuck. Once they find them, monster elves prove particularly fond of filthy, hardcore sex. Exactly how elves are related to dark elves in the MG world is not clear. Wandering scholars... Well, gee, I wonder how. Wandering scholar reports in Falling Maidens that these two races are entirely separate from the beginning. The species' mutual antagonism implies that there may be some history there. In any case, it's not like angels and dark angels. Dark angels are really cool and we should check that out. Elves are not turned into dark elves or vice versa. The two are distinct species. The most well-known type of elves are also known as forest elves. They look just like a human except with pointy ears, and they innately possess high amounts of magical energy. They deem themselves as higher beings compared to humans, and thus most individuals look down and loathe them. They live in particular villages established deep in the forest. They weren't originally monsters, and only those who receive succubus energy and are turned into succubi are treated as monsters. See? Elves are basically people.
Disposition: prideful, aggressive, and eventually lustful. Diet: men spirit energy, naturally.
Elves normally live deep in the forest where people rarely threaten. Those who have become succubi will be banished from the village due to the laws of the elves. Afterwards, since they naturally seek human men due to the succubus instinct, they will often wander at the outskirts of the forest near human settlements. Due to their innately high magical energy in the early stages, they won't be completely violated by succubus energy. The horns, wings, and tail normally seen in succubi are nowhere to be found, and they retain their noble and proud elven mind. That's a little worse. However, in contrast with their hearts, their body will have completely changed into that of a succubus, and it will always throb seeking human men, tempting their hearts.
It's that word again, throb. Always
big
throb.
big old throbos going on.
Mm-hmm.
Due to their elven mind, they'll find it disgusting and will desperately try to resist the throbbing. Resist those throbs, girl. It's like you're mashing, mash the X button to resist throbbing. However, with their body being that of a succubus, even if it isn't their intent, they'll advance in the direction where there are human men. It's like It Follows. And once they spot a human man, it'll start throbbing even more strongly in the pursuit of pleasure. Their words and mannerisms will contradict their will, naturally becoming more obscene to tempt the man. Eventually, the rational mind of these elves will reach the limit, and they'll either give in to the instinct and attack a man, or controversially be attacked by the man they tempted and end up having sex. Oh no, these elves get raped too. Ironically, the longer they endure it, the more powerful and lewd a succubus elf they end up changing into. Those who have completely become succubi will actively seduce and have sex with men, as if the hatred of humanity they have harbored until then was just a lie.
This is a lot darker than I expected this to be.
As if ashamed of having been so pure until then, they'll receive the thick white thick white of semen of the human man. something about the thick white of semen. The thick white the thick white of semen of the human men will be used to despise as if I'm sorry, the thick white is tripping me up.
It's something about it.
It's funny.
There's more to the sentence.
I know. They used to despise as if to defile every part of themselves that used to be clean, and their expression will be one of ecstasy.
This is pretty
pretty
morbid.
long.
It's pretty weird. Oh yeah, there's more to it, but I guess it's just book information. I don't think we need to read this because this is just different.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ooh, that turned dark.
They're disappearing rapidly.
They're an endangered.
Elves are an endangered.
Non-corrupted elves are an endangered species.
They're on the list with white rhinos.
Mm-hmm.
If you see a pure elf, please call the police so they can put it in captivity and not let it get turned into a succubus.
I feel like that would be even worse because
listen, man, they're disappearing. How do you save them?
I don't know, leave them alone, I guess.
It's not working out.
I mean,
too well.
poaching them won't help.
Poaching them. You look pretty pure. Get in the van.
Oh no. Ooh. All right. So what do you think?
Elves are a 7, mostly because I feel bad for them.
They're pretty simple. They're not very monster-like. They're just kind of like forest people.
Yeah.
I'm gonna point out here, I like how that this is actually a heel. This isn't even a sandal. I like how they look like, what are they called? Like Hercules sandals. But
Yeah, the
they're
Roman
like,
ones. The Roman ones.
Yeah, but they got heels on them, actually. I feel like that wouldn't be good for hunting, but alright.
Oh, you got another tongue one.
You got some weird mutants coming out.
Ooh, should I do this one?
Yeah, why not?
Okay,
It's not.
I can't tell if these spots are from the actual
if it's
clothing,
like her clothes or if it's
or if
something
it's
else.
like this
Dude.
nasty tongue. Ugh. Okay. Kaname are humanoid monsters from the Zipango region. Hey, that old stomping grounds. Notably for their extremely long tongues, like many of the Zipango monsters, they are not especially violent, although entranced by the scent of a man to human settlements, they lurk in wait to pounce on their victims. During sex, they like to lick their victim all over, tasting his sweat. And this way they are similar to Beelzebubs and certain slimes.
These slimy ones are always. Look at its diet.
Diet, filth, sweat, saliva,
etc.
and the spirit energy. That's pretty gross. It's one thing that it's like it licks you, but it's not like I need to lick
I
you.
need to live. I need to eat your dirt.
Ugh,
Ugh.
get sweaty. A monster characterized by having
I like you and I want you. You do this the easy way or the hard way.
Can you imagine how it would talk with having a tongue with that and be like a constant lisp?
I like you.
Whoa. Okay. Monster character has by having a long, skinny tongue that inhabits the Panga region. As their name suggests, Akaname means filth liquor. Oh, I'm gonna call somebody that's funny. They mainly feed on filth of human men. They make their flexible tongue crawl all over a man's body, licking up every bit of filth.
God, these are just walking garbage
This
cans.
is disgusting. This is like a reverse Danny DeVito trash man. They tend to prefer an unhygienic or mentally and physically fatigued man.
These neat hunters.
They suddenly appear out of nowhere. Yeah, a neat steps out and is like, I should probably get some sunshine. And then it's like, oh, you're filthy, disgusting. Ugh. They suddenly appear out of nowhere in human settlements, lured by the scent of men, wait for the prey, but lurking in bathrooms. That's ooh. This is disgusting.
You open the bathroom at a truck stop and this thing is just in there.
It's like the gift where it's like sitting on the toilet and it scoots over and like to make room for you. They have a slippery personality that is difficult to assess. Oh,
It's disgusting. That's what I assess.
slippery, hoo. A nice wordplay, kanku. They outwardly behave in a teasing manner, but their true nature is very obsessive and lustful. Their tongue usage matches their personality. Everyone thinks they've licked all over every inch of the male body. They rub their face against delicious places where it's especially easy for filth to accumulate, such as the armpits, the penis, etc.
This is gross.
But it's even worse that there's somebody out there like this that's like in a dingy basement being like, I just want to like
This
sweat.
is perfect for me. Oh, I wish the filth liquor was originally on Christmas.
Son, why haven't you bathed? I waited for the filth liquor. I have a girlfriend who's a filth liquor.
She cleans me.
This is nasty. Okay. Ew. They continue licking deliberately. This one is like, we've had some pretty regular ones, except for like one or two
We
things.
had an elf, which is literally the most regular.
Yeah, and the Lamia. But this is like a filthy, disgusting, like, cast this out of our society. Oh man, if you see a Nakaname in the streets, you throw rocks at it. Get out of here. We don't like you in our towns.
Go away.
But don't work up a sweat.
Oh yeah, right.
And continue licking deliberately and persistently, intent on spending plenty of time savoring their aromatic taste and scent. The caressing of their alluring tongue alone is enough to easily lead a man to ejaculation. Okay, they're gonna take a little moment here. The more I read
Smash
these,
players, please bathe.
okay, real talk. The more I read these, the more I feel like I'm getting into the mind of Kenku, and I hope one day we get to the point where reading these, we get to get big enough to interview Kenku himself with a translator, so we could ask him about this one specifically.
Remember that one you made like more than 5 years ago? At this point,
What was it like in your life?
What was the deal?
Where you made a
Where
filth
were
looking?
you? Bro, are you okay?
You need some help, bro?
There's like 5 like physical novels, like 5 physical Monster Girl Encyclopedias at this point. Bro,
He's just got a big beard.
flip open
He's
the first
balding.
one. Bro, are you okay? This is like on par with the Roper of just being like.
That's the thing is that this is. I'm trying to describe it. What I was thinking of was with like horror films. There's some horror films that are like, oh, that's like disturbing because it's like guts and gore, and there's some that are like gross out where it's like you're in a puddle of bile and like filth.
But
and
psychological horror.
Yeah, this is what this embodies is like a
creature that literally just wants to eat the dirt that's on you.
It's like a fear of filth that this manifests and then turns into like a sex thing, which is like gross and it's stinky, and psychologically it's just like, because it's like, you know, it's being attracted to filthy. But let's continue. I continued looking and persistently intend on spending plenty of time. The caressing of their luring tongues alone is enough to easily lead a man to ejaculation. The kind of filth they prefer isn't simply what is generally known as filth. It just is monsters always continually releasing demonic energy. Humans also excrete their old spirit energy outside of the body as it becomes unneeded when it is replaced by new spirit energy produced inside the body. Part of it sticks to the body as invisible filth. Of course, they loathe the fresh spirit energy contained in semen, etc., as well as the ripened spirit energy that became filth. They say it has a
ages like a fine wine.
Yeah. Don't you just love whenever you're like, I'm not gonna shower out even though I'm sweaty and stinky, and then you wake up and you just got a tongue all over you, and you're just like, it's exactly what I needed.
They say it has a thick taste that it sticks inside their mouth.
This is, I'm gonna throw up. Additionally, the demonic energy rubbed into a man's body by their tongue has the effect of boosting the metabolism. A man's body will start to work hard, producing new spirit energy and releasing the oldest filth, resulting in a treat for them. Men who become their husband and get licked all over crazy on a daily basis will always maintain a fresh supply of spirit energy, which is their vital energy, and harmful waste will continually be excreted outside their body, so the mind and body become active. The body becomes healthy and fatigue will recover rapidly. Stamina increases as well as lust, and one will be able to live enjoyably.
I don't know about that.
Can you imagine every day just like
coming home, you've been working like a 9 to 5, when your wife attacks you and just starts licking you all over? Like,
I feel like it'd become a ritual. Like, you go out and you just like take off your clothes and lay on the bed and be like, okay, I'm ready, and then just, are you clean? Nope. I should probably do it.
Just staring at the ceiling.
I should probably do a second.
Nope.
I should probably do a second pass just to make sure.
Why does it sound like an old woman?
I just imagine that they would have a creepy voice. There's no way you can live like this and not have a creepy voice. Oh man. However, perhaps because of becoming used to the situation, just like people who experience an unpleasant feeling if they don't bathe every day, they end up feeling awful if they don't have their entire body licked all over by the akaname every night. Did they still bathe though? It didn't say. In line with their true nature, they obsessively, persistently shower the man they recognize as their husband with affection. They love to wrap each other's bodies together. Of course, they like to have sex, wrapping their arms or legs around a man's body, wrapping their vaginal walls. I mean, you're just describing sex. They're ravenous and sipping sweat and filth.
No, they're ravenous and they want more than
just a member for even while spirit energy is being poured inside their womb, they wrap their long tongue around a man's body and his tongue sipping sweat and filth along with semen, hungrily tasting the husband's body. I don't know how that would be, just have a tongue constantly rubbing up against you, pretty much almost constantly all day. Ugh. Also, the act of intertwining tongues is one of the biggest displays of affection equivalent to sex. I wouldn't
want to kiss this fucking thing.
It's been all over your body. Given the chance, they'll slip their tongue into their husband's mouth. Can you imagine you just trying to, you're sitting and then she's like, hey, I gotta ask you a question, and you're like, what? And then in the middle of the word what, she just shoves your tongue in your mouth. I told you to stop doing that. This is rancid. Along with a deep kiss and lick every inch inside.
I didn't even feel this disgusted with the literal demon.
The Monster Girl is based on a yokai in Japanese folklore. This is disgusting.
This is a 1.
0 out of 10. Transition.
End this.
And me. Alright, thank you for watching. I hope you appreciate it.
Keep sending those requests in so we don't have to do random.
Yes.
Make sure they're not gross though, or we just
or if you want to do gross ones, I mean, you know, I don't know how much more gross we can get than this.
Oh, don't say that.
You're right. Alright, thank you. Goodbye.
This is strange, messed up stuff going on right here.